One of the most iconic coaster designers is Intamin because they have proven they can use new technology to innovate and bring new to the coaster industry. When you hear Intamin, you might think about rides like Millennium Force, Thrill Dragster, Xcelerator, Maverick, Toro, Intimidator 305, and many more. That's probably because each of these rides affected the coaster world in some sort of way. Millennium Force, the first coaster over 300 feet. Thrill Dragster, the first coaster over 400 feet. Xcelerator, the first coaster to use a hydraulic launch system, which at the time was the most efficient launch system on the market. Maverick, the first coaster to use an LSM launch system, not to be confused with Premier Ride's LIM launch system, which made its mark in the 90s. Toro, the first coaster to have wood track made with laser precision in a factory. And then there were some risky coasters like Intimidator 305, where they were trying to do something new, but in the end had to go back and revise the final product. This innovation is good and all, but it has been no surprise that Intamin rides are unreliable, and because parks need to put so much money into their reoccurring problems, that causes them to stop working with Intamin. So even though Intamin is creating awesome new thrill rides, parks aren't wanting to take the chance because they're afraid they're going to bite off more than they can chew and will need to put a lot of money into their new coaster. With that said, in today's episode of What If, we dive into a crazy fan fiction that is slowly becoming a reality. What if Intamin went out of business? What effects would it have on the industry? And what would it mean for the future of coasters as we know it? If you're new to the channel, be sure to tap that subscribe button down below for more videos just like this every week. Also, if you enjoy the content and want to see more, go check out the Instagram for updates, live streams, and of course, so you can know what parks I'll be at and when. With that all said and out of the way, enjoy. Before I get started with the video, I just want to say I don't think Intamin will go out of business anytime soon or even at all. With the coaster industry constantly changing, anything can happen, and who knows, maybe Intamin will be thriving through the next decade, or maybe they will go out of business. This video is mostly a fanfiction to what might happen if this beloved manufacturer does unfortunately bite the dust. It's all just speculation and for fun. How would it change the way we look at coasters, and how would it affect the coaster industry? Alright, you get the gist. Today's episode was brought to my attention by Matt Hintz, who posted probably one of the most brilliant comments I've ever gotten. His comment read, "Intamin reminds me a little of Arrow in some ways. There's a spark of creativity and adventure in their rides. They both have had a lot of problems, Arrow innovating more in layout and size while not improving modernizing their elements, while Intamin would implement experimental techniques that could be buggy, but nevertheless, I was always excited by these rides." This really made me think, and the more I thought, the more resemblance I saw between these two companies. The biggest similarity being how they both love to innovate and push the limits to what they are today. Arrow made the first pipe coaster, first coaster to go upside down multiple times, the first hyper coaster, and the first fourth dimensional coaster, and there's still so much more to their resume. It was the innovation of the fourth dimensional coaster that would ultimately lead them to bankruptcy, and I can't help but compare that to the risky transfer track coaster Intamin is making. Will this high-speed transfer track coaster like Pantheon be the ride that does put them out of business? No, but it does show us they are willing to take risks now more than ever before. Add declining popularity, unreliable rides, and controversy in media, and it could end in some bad news for Intamin. Anyway, this is not a video telling why or when Intamin will go out of business, because quite frankly, they won't. They are creating enough coasters in Europe to sustain themselves, and with their return to the United States, they should be just fine for many years to come. But let's take a step into the future, to a place where Intamin is no longer with us. What would we see? Well, a 500-foot T-Rex. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. I'm just kidding. In order to solve this problem, we can't ask what will change, but how will their legacy be remembered? In other words, would parks start removing these coasters, or would someone continue to supply parts to these aging rides and who would bring new to the coaster industry using Intamin's concepts? Think back to how S&S purchased Arrow's concepts, and from that, we got to see their concepts developed into the next generation. A prime example being the 4D coaster, now in today's world, the 4D free spin. Let's say yes, Intamin does sell off their concepts and designs to a company that could continue to build extra parts and use their designs. What manufacturer would spend the money? Honestly, with how revolutionary Intamin has been, I think any company would put in a bid for these concepts because at one point in time, they were very successful. One company that stands above all from my point of view is Vekoma. Vekoma has been on the top of their game recently, proving their LSM launch coasters are now worthy of respect. If Vekoma can get their hands on these plans, then they can grow their business to the next level and be the go-to launch coaster, hypercoaster designer. Other possibilities for designers who might buy these concepts are Xcelerator or maybe even SNS. Though these are not super likely, I see them getting Intamin's mantle passed down to them over other manufacturers like Mach, B&M, and RMC, and that's for one reason. Companies like Mach, B&M, and RMC would actually benefit from Intamin going out of business, and they wouldn't need the concepts. Instead of Intamin, parks will go to Mach for the launch coasters, B&M for hypers and gigas, and RMC for the innovation. So let's say Vekoma, or any other manufacturer in that case, gets Intamin's plans. What does this mean? Within the first 10 years of Intamin's extinction, the industry will fade away from Intamin's legacy and just look for what's next. So to answer the question, what does the future look like? If Vekoma gets the plans, they will continue the legacy of Intamin by supplying parts for the rides that are reaching the end of their service life and would compete with B&M as to who can make the best traditional hypercoaster. Vekoma will compete with Mach for who can build the best launch coaster, and overall they will both grow in popularity. Xcelerator will continue to set themselves apart from everyone else by building their vertical drop coasters taller. Great Coasters International will be the best wood coaster designer as they use their steel support structure to make hypers and their next gen Infinity Flyer trains for launches and inversions, and who knows, maybe they'll compete with RMC for hybrid coasters. And last but surely not least, RMC will be the new king of roller coaster innovation. For smaller companies like Zaire, Skyline, and Gravity Group, I hope they all find their place in the crowd and create the next revolutionary coaster. Just like how Intamin was a small company when Arrow was around. So what do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Be sure to tell me what you think would happen to the coaster industry if Intamin goes out of business in the comments down below. Also, if you enjoy the content and want to support the channel, check out our all new merchandise store. Click the card at the top of the screen for all sorts of theme park media apparel. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed and want to see more just like it, click this playlist right here. If you want to subscribe to my channel, click my little logo right beneath me. I am your host Zach from Theme Park Media signing off, and I will catch you in the next one.